Okay. All right, well, welcome to first grade curriculum night. We're very excited to have you guys and to start the year with your kids. I'm Danny Todd.
I'm Mrs. Dow.
I've taught second grade for 29 years, so this is my 30th year here at Lakeside and my first year in first grade. So I'm really excited to teach it and see these wonderful little children grow.
She heard me coming. She said she was really excited to be on first
I
grade.
love it here.
You all my witnesses.
I'm her favorite.
And I have taught, this is my 10th year, but I've done first, third, and kinder. So it's kind of a mix.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started on the. We didn't get any questions, but if you, as we speak tonight, you have questions, you can write it in a notebook if you want to, and you could answer at the end.
There's our glorious selves. Yeah.
Wearing the same shirts. We've been putting this in the newsletter, but thought you'd also get to see this. Communication, email. So if you need if there's something important or you have questions or whatever, email us directly. I prefer that over Parent Square, but either one works. And the newsletter, it's very important you read it. Sometimes we repeat information because I like things to be there over and over for me, but also because there is important information that we need to let you know about, and it's important you read it. Transportation, if your child is going to go home a different way or go home with a friend, please let us know by email. If we don't respond to you, then maybe call up to the school. Hey, I just want to make sure Ms. Todd or Ms. Dow got the message. Okay, so our reading, writing, and phonics are based on units of study by Lucy Calkins. And the reading is a workshop where we do mini lessons with the children, and then they go back, they do independent reading, partner reading, and while they're independent reading or partner reading, we are conferring with them, we're pulling small groups, we're going over strategies, reading strategies, retelling, main idea. Anything else? Phonics is, we do phonemic awareness in phonics, and so it's a lot of hands-on, manipulating words. One of the biggies is our high frequency words, which we call snap words. Words you need to know with snap. So that's something that you can practice at home, and if you'd like a list of what we do, we can provide you with a copy of the words. And those snap words right now are on our word wall. Let's see, we work on decoding. We do that through our reading groups, we do it through our phonics, and we even do it during our writing, which our writing is also the workshop format where we do a mini lesson. The kids have choice of topic. While they're writing, they may be brainstorming, they may be planning, they may be drafting, they may be revising, and everyone's at a different spot in the writing process. And as they're doing that, we will meet with them, confer with them. We'll have strategy groups if there's a small group that maybe they are lacking punctuation or subject verb agreement, so we work with them. And we also, spelling then would be through the writing. We talk about it, and they see if they can transfer their skills from phonics into their writing. And look at there. And then grammar is the functions, the conventions. A big push is capitalization, punctuation, and no random punks. And I feel like that's what we've been working on a lot these last few weeks. And if you at home, if you see them writing and say, why did you put a capital here? Instead of saying you didn't capitalize, say, why did you put a capital? Why didn't you? So they have to explain.
And then science, we actually have a kind of like a new science curriculum this year. So we're going based off Discovery, which is a great new resource that we have, where they will be doing small groups. We try to do a lot of hands-on activities. We'll be trying to do some science things throughout the year. Last week we just did apples, where they got to taste, smell, do all their 5 senses, which I'm sure most of them have had apples, but they still thought it was the best thing ever. So we do like to try to incorporate a lot of hands-on for science. We do like to do different activities that way. Social studies we focus a lot on right now. We're doing citizenship. What's it being a good citizen? We'll do government. We'll do holidays around the world. We do a lot of community-based things, and that will be throughout the year, and I'm sure some of you have already seen papers like that going home this week. as we talked about what it's to be a good citizen and things like that as we're building on throughout the year.
And also the historical figures, we will research a historical figure and write about it. So they're incorporating the
Yes.
writing and the research.
They get to write in everything.
And they love
Writing
it.
is everywhere. Yes. And then math is always a big one, just like reading. We do a lot of math, don't we? Yes, we do. We do a lot of manipulatives. We've been doing a lot of games. We're going to start working into kind of stations, some small group-centered activities for them to be working on, where they're working on individual things while we're working on a small group at our table. And we're just kind of going over the mini lesson with them or working on whatever they need, differentiating for them and what they need. We go up all the way up to 120. And we do different things, daily math activities. We're constantly changing things. We're composing numbers. We're adding, we'll get into some more not harder, but more complex things as we get going. But we are definitely working on our daily math workshop, and some of the kiddos already have seen that. We do a lot of Dreambox as well, which I'm sure you've heard about, especially if you're here for kindergarten. That is more based off what they do, so that's more individualized for them, which we'll tie that in the classroom as well.
We could also, the math assessment, we could take their score and put it in a Dreambox, and it'll be for
Wherever
that.
they need it.
Yeah, it'll do activities based on their need and where they were weaker, and also, like she said, we represent numbers to 120, and we will also do addition, subtraction, strategies, word problems, counting coins. They need to identify the coin and be able to count by 2s, 5s, and 10s.
10 more, 10 less.
2D shapes, 3D shapes.
Yes. And we'll have that on our newsletter. We do a lot of what's coming up next. So, on our newsletter, you see often of what we're doing and what we're teaching. So you can even see kind of at a glance of, oh, well, that's what they're doing next week. And so you'll kind of be up to date on that as well. Snacks. We do have snacks toward the afternoon because our lunch normally is so early. It's at 11. So by the afternoon, they are starving and they just need something. We just ask for no liquid snacks, and we also, the cheesy fingers, a lot of times, we're doing a working snack, which means they're snacking while we're working on something. Normally that time is during our science time. So we ask for nothing that's gonna make like those wonderful cheesy fingers that get on their paper and everything else, or make crumbs like everywhere. Just to make it easier and making an easy transition from eating a quick snack. This is just normally like a 10-15 minute, you're eating your snack, you're working, okay, we're gonna clean up. Like this isn't a long time of, hey, you have like 40 minutes to eat the snack, because we're moving pretty quickly and it's just something quick in the afternoon.
And we prefer just a small snack because they had just had lunch like an hour or so before. So we don't want to have like 5 different snacks because it's not a meal, it's just a little snack to get us through the day.
Yes.
We are not for you as of to this yet, so we have to worry about
Those are
that.
fine.
Behavior, our class expectations, we created our rules at the beginning of the year. We readdress them as needed. One of the ways that we promote good behavior is positive reinforcement and using the dojo points, and I'm sure you're familiar. They probably came home and talked about the dojo points. They really like it. And they can use the dojo points to get rewards such as a treasure box or eat with a friend or have shoes off day. If we give warnings, but if it takes more than one warning, we do take dojo points. If it's something, a reoccurrence, and we have to take more than one dojo, then you might see a think sheet where they tell that happened, why it happened, why they chose to do that behavior, and it'll go home to you, and we'll sign it and return it to us. And first grade, we really, really encourage independence. Have them responsible for making sure the red folder is in their backpack. Make sure that they have the iPad fully charged and in the backpack, and the snack is in there. When they come to school, say, "My mom forgot to pack," and I'm like, "Whose responsibility is it?" So it helps us here at school for them to learn the independence where they don't have to come up to us and say, "It hurts when I touch here." It's like be able to problem solve and be independent.
Yes, and that includes, we've had a lot of like tying the shoes. So if any practice you can do at home with tying shoes is amazing. We do not tie shoes throughout the day, just because if we did, I promise you we'd be tying shoes about every 5 minutes. We just don't have that time. It just takes up a lot of time, and they want to do it, you know, when we're in a lesson or whatever. There are certain times I always tell them that it's appropriate, you know, when we're outside playing, yes, things like that. But if there is any practice you can do at home at tying shoes, that's amazing, because we're always like, hey guys, go find a shoe tying friend. That's
And
our go-to.
Also, and this is going for the boys in the family, they don't always have the greatest aim, little boys, and the bathroom has some liquid on it. If they walk in there with their shoelaces, then you're touching it or they're touching it. So if they can tie, we make sure they tie shoes before walking into the restroom.
Yes. This has been on there. I know it's been on our newsletter a couple times too. Just if anyone's wanting to come, we share our time with kindergarten as well in the lunchroom. So for the first 9 weeks, maybe where we're just if anyone wanted to help volunteer with coming in, helping with milk cartons and containers and all of the wonderful things that we do during lunchtime, just to help with some extra hands in the cafeteria is awesome.
So here's the QR code, but we also had the link in the newsletter. I'm not sure if it's still there. And make sure that you do have a background check. And that also goes for field trips, or if working with the children, you need to have a background check. There is a link in the slide, I promise you. I don't know where it went. Our report cards, if you were here last year, then you know that they're standard based, and every 9 weeks, you'll get the report card. It'll come to you online, so you won't get a physical one. Homework, we don't do homework. We do ask that you have your child read 2 to 3 times a night, or not a night, a week. Even practice math facts, because it's really important they know them with automaticity. It helps them to get math. Like if they're sitting there, then they're not focusing on the skill that they might need to know. And we do, if it's something, it's like as needed, or if they need extra practice, we might send something home. It may not be everyone, it may just be a few, but they also can earn dojo points if they complete it and bring it back. So, and last year I had kids say, "Can I have homework?" Just because they wanted the dojo points, and of course, extra practice is great. And like we said, reading 3 times a night and practicing, it makes a difference, because I taught 2nd grade, so when I would get kids in 2nd grade, I could tell the ones that read at night and over the summer, so keep that in mind.
Take-home folders, I'm sure you've already seen them. The red hold folders that come back and forth, we just ask that those come back and forth with them every day. We can check the dojo every night as well. Lost and found, I know we've already had a couple kiddos maybe that have lost the water bottles or jackets. We always give them the opportunity to check the lost and found. Absences, that's a new system which is linked into the newsletter each week. So if there's going to be an absence, there's a way for you to log it in there. So it's not necessarily always physical notes, but those are always welcome as well. Anytime they're absent, a note is needed. And then iPads, we always just make sure, please charge them every night. We do use them every day for multiple things throughout the day. So they really are important, especially this week when we've done map testing. And so we've had to use them quite often. So we just always try to please get those in their backpacks and get them charged.
And the iPads, we don't just play on them. We use them for educational purposes, like the Dreambox. We've been using an app called Number Pieces, and it has a base 10 blocks that they can slide over and count. So it is very helpful to have a fully charged iPad, and just note that we are not just playing on it all day.
Yes, they read on it as well. We do RAS Kids, so.
Our assessments are administered fall, winter, spring, but winter and spring are pretty close together. But it's beginning, middle, and end, and we do the same assessment. So once we get our assessments done, which is MAP right now in M class, we will have printouts for you, and then when we meet for conferences, you will get the printout and get to see where your child is. And then each time we do the assessments, you get a hard copy of how they did, so that you can see by the end of the year the growth that they made. And as far as conferences go, we will be giving information, like a Google Doc where you can sign up for times. It'll be on whatever that day is, Friday. It's for parents
I think
and
it's October 11th.
it's like the Friday before the Monday that you're off.
Yes, it's 11th.
And we will invite you in, but if you can't make it, then we can try to schedule you like during our planning time or through a Zoom. If you prefer Zoom, then we can also do a Zoom. And the MAP testing, reading and MAP. We take running records to see the level, and throughout the year we could take these running records. We have writing prompts that they do at the beginning of a unit, and then at the end to see how much they've grown. Like right now we're doing small moments, so when we're done with the small moments, they'll do a writing assessment and we'll see how did you do from when we first started to the end. M class we're working on right now, and you will again get all that information. The breakfast and lunch menu we have linked in the newsletter. They're like at the bottom, little blue ribbons. For breakfast, we ask that if they're going to eat breakfast to arrive at 7:20ish, because the bell rings at 7:40 and we start right at 7:40. And if we have kids coming in at 7:40 and say, I need to go to breakfast, then they're missing some class instruction. So we prefer them to be here by 7:20 to eat. Again, lunch is at 11.
Birthdays. We do love celebrating our kiddo. However, here, if you're going to bring a snack, those have to be individually wrapped, and those are sent home. We do not eat them here. They will be announced on the morning announcements, and then you get to go home, and they'll get a pencil and like a little free treat card. But that's kind of the extent of our birthday fun throughout the day.
It almost is easier to do like a little goodie bag with little trinkets because they love that.
Yes.
Because like she said, if you bring in cupcakes, each cupcake has to be in its own individual bag or plastic container that the kids take home. And that's ever since our awesome COVID year. And as far as the invites,
Oh, yes. If you're sending invites, please make sure there's enough for the whole class. We can't really just send it out to just a couple in the classroom. So.
and if you decide you don't want the whole class, you just want a few of the boys or whatever, then you would have to send that on your own. Because we don't want to hurt feelings. Kids that got left out. Oh, I guess we're shooting. Okay, here's the link. If you click on it, you get to meet all the specials teachers. We have an extra slide in there. Oh yeah, the attendance matters. But we have a big push on attendance, and we really, really are encouraging you to make sure that your child is here. We get it, and we know right now there's a lot of sickness going around and fever and stuff. So we want you to keep them home if they're sick, but please try to make sure that if they are healthy enough to come to school, they are currently coming up with a plan, some kind of reward for perfect attendance each 9 weeks. So be on the lookout for that, maybe in our newsletter or just the facts for us. Oh, and here, in case that will get you can submit your note online. This was
Part of it.
yeah, everyone has this in their slideshow, but it's all about the devices, and it's more, I think, geared toward older kids than little ones. Again, attendance matters.
It's a big deal.
Very big deal, line. So there is our
Strive for less than 5 absences.
strive for less than 5.
This also includes tardies. That also takes into effect if they're late every day. Like we said, the bell rings at 7:40. We do take attendance later on in the day. However, if they are getting noted that they were tardy in the office, even if they are showing up later at 7:40. So those do take effect as well. Yeah, GT, if you were needing any questions, information, everyone will be screened in first grade. That's one of the grades that everyone will get screened in, and if your child happens to qualify, you will be notified and how that works. We will not take those assessments until later on, but if you had any questions or just was wondering, there is a QR code on here, and
And I have
Warren is
some half
amazing.
sheets.
Yes.
And any questions you could send them to her, Melissa
She's
Warren,
gonna
M. Warren.
Be the one to help you out with that.
Who is this, John?
Miss Morgan.
Yes, it's our guidance counselor. She meets with us each week. We take the whole class there to do lessons. welcome, to do lessons that focus on character traits or emotions and SEL. If you find your child's having some sort of issue, you can reach out to us or to Miss Morgan and she can meet with them. She'll check in on students from time to time to see how they're doing, especially if they're new. She had a little group for the new friends the other day. Is that it?
Yeah.
Whoa, look at us.
We're rock stars.
Yeah, so right now, we will open it up to any questions that you might have. Oh, come on, someone's got a question.
Can we use like Dreambox and stuff at home?
You can, Dreambox does an assessment at the beginning of the month, so don't use it then. Avoid the beginning of the month and they can work on it.
And the reading app?
The RAS kids, so if they log into SSO and they go to, it's called Learning A to Z, it's a robot, Armand always says, it's the robot, I'm like, yeah. And they can go and it'll have books on their level that we've assigned their level, and they can get a few levels below and a few levels up, and it has nonfiction, fiction, it has quizzes you can take, and science,
It has a lot.
that can totally be done at home.
Yes. We don't mind you doing Dreambox at home. I always just say if you're going to do Dreambox, please just let the kiddos do it because it is geared toward them. So if you're answering this wonderful multiplication problem and then they come to school and they're like, well, I don't know how to solve this problem, then it's not geared based on them. Does that make sense? This is it alters based on how they answer the questions. So if they're working on it, great, but please no assistance. We always say that's more based on what they need to know and what they're working on themselves. So that kind of helps them grow as they're going along, and we monitor it daily, and we use it to help monitor and adjust our instruction as well. So we just,
Yes, so we take where they're weak and we can gear differentiated lessons to all our little friends.
yes.
Anything else?
So we heard from a little birdie that you're gonna be leaving in a little bit,
I am.
and.
Promise I'm not just white. Yes, I am. So I was going to mention that there may be a possibility that my conference day, I know that the normal one is on October 18th, or October 11th, I'm sorry. My day may be a little bit earlier, so I will be messaging my parents on a particular day. Right now, I'm not due to leave until October 14th. So, however, we always know that doesn't always work out the way we plan. If anything changes, I will for sure let you guys know in plenty of time for my parents and email out a alternate date where we can meet, because I would like to meet with you for our conferences before I leave, and then I will be back at the end of December or January. I have a wonderful retired teacher who is from Lakeside who is taking over, so she knows, and she's going to do such a great job. I promise you, she's going to be amazing. She knows everything. She's been at Lakeside for years. So
I will attest for how wonderful this person is. I worked with her, so I know how great she is.
yes, so I promise you, your kiddos are in good hands until I get back. But yes, I'm hoping to meet with all my parents before I head out, and then of course we will meet when I get back. So
Anything else? And of course, if you think of a question, email us. Like we said, the email is the best way to get a hold of us, and we will answer as quickly as we can.
I do have a question about the dojo. I noticed on the app that you can do like home points. That's completely separate from school points, right? Like there's
I believe so.
I
Okay.
believe so.
I
I've
just
not
didn't
seen
wanna-
that.
I didn't want to do anything in there that would like mess up anything on your end.
And my class is really into playing Dojo Island. It's, I don't know, maybe kind of like Minecraft. I don't even know. But the QR code paper that we gave to you at the beginning of the year, if they click on it, one of the choices could be Dojo. I think they click Student and Dojo Island and they can play on it. So they like to do that, especially like at recess if we have indoor. That's something they can do.
The app app is $6.99 a month, right, or something?
No, you don't have to pay.
No, it should be,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't worry about paying for it.
Always wanna get points.
Only worry about the free one,
Cancel it.
the free one.
Is
Yeah.
that what it
You
is?
can get a couple points a month. We have to get so, I already know about that. Yeah, if you can do a couple points a month on the free version, and they
Okay.
don't try to get just you to buy it, but you know.
Yeah, they say like things like, you'll learn more insight about their points and how they're doing if you pay. So so that was part of my question is that are there extra things we can see on Class Dojo or is it just like point for?
You should be able to see, like, if they lost a dojo and it's say what for, like dishonesty or
Yeah.
playing in the bathroom.
Okay,
So you can check up on that.
okay,
And then they'll go.
okay, but it's not like extra info, that's interesting.
Thank you.
I can just